Hi guys, today we're going to continue with our notes that we started yesterday on literal equations. So yesterday we had gone through example 6, and today we're going to start with example 7. Notice again, like example 6 yesterday, we have a fraction. And again, when you start solving any equation with fractions, you want to start by clearing the fractions. Okay, that's the first step that you want to take. So the LCM here, when there's only one fraction, the denominator is 2, that's your LCM. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. 2 times a is 2a. Remember, you're dividing. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1 times h is just h. Bring down the a plus b. We have the distributive property here, so we want to distribute h times a and h times b. HA plus HB. Bring down the 2A. Remind yourself of what you're solving for. We're solving for B, so I'm looking to isolate that B. The first thing I want to do is get rid of anything that's adding or subtracting. The HA is adding on. I want to move it over. I do the opposite. I subtract HA. I now have, on the left-hand side, I just copy 2a minus HA. Now notice one is uppercase, one is lowercase. They have to stay like that because they're like different variables. They're like x and y. Equals, and on the right side I now just have HB. And I'm going to divide to isolate the b. Divide by h, divide by h, b equals, and I'm going to copy this whole fraction is my answer. This whole thing is just my answer. So 2a minus HA all over H. Now, as an optional challenge, you can simplify this if you want. This simplifies to 2A over H minus A. Okay, you're dividing twice basically is what's happening. You're dividing by H 2 times. You're dividing by H here, 2A divided by H, and then you're dividing by H here, minus HA divided by H, which cancels the H. Okay, you don't have to do that one, but both answers are posted on the answer key. Looking at example 8, sorry, we're solving for m. Now you'll notice that m has an exponent on it. M is squared. Okay, the squared you're going to get rid of at the end. First thing you want to do is cancel out the 2 and the n, and you'll notice that the 2 and the n are both multiplying by m squared. Okay, so if I put in here little multiplication symbols like we did yesterday, I can divide by 2 and n at the same time. Divide by 2 and n. So I now have m squared equals a over 2n. Now, this m squared is telling you that some number squared equals a over 2n. The opposite of squaring a number, if you can think back to last year, opposite of squaring, right, meaning like some number to the second power, is to take the square root. Taking square root, which is this symbol. So if you think about just any random number, like 6 to the second is 36, 6 squared, and then the square root of 36 takes me back to 6. So they undo each other, squared and square root. So since that's true, I take the square root on both sides here, and that cancels out my squared, leaving me with just m. So I end up with m equals, and I just copy this square root around the fraction, square root of a over 2n. Okay, example 9. You'll notice that there's a squared in it, but it's not on the x that we're solving for. So see how it says solve for x? Oh, so there's a typo. It should be solve for b, sorry. It says solve for b. The b that we're solving for does not have a square. So even though there's a squared in this problem, it's different. It's not the variable that we're trying to isolate that's squared. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to isolate b. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get my b terms on the same side. Get the b terms on the same side of the equal sign. of the equation. So I could like bring this negative 6mb over this way and have it join with the 14mb. And I would do that by doing the opposite. Opposite of minus 6mb is plus 6mb. These cancel. 14mb plus 6mb is 20mb. I'm going to bring down minus 6m squared equals 20m squared. Let me fix that squared. Okay, now I have 20mb, I have all the b's together, but I also have this m squared term. I can move it over that way to have it join with the 20m squared. So I will do the opposite of minus 6m squared. I will add 6m squared, add 6m squared. Remember, it's the m squared. So it's just 20 plus 6, 26, and then I bring down the m squared. And then I bring down the 20mb. And remember, my goal was to isolate b. Well, it's being multiplied by 20 and m, so I'm going to divide by 20m. Divide the right side by 20m. So my answer is b equals 26m squared all over 20m. However, when you have no plus or minus signs, you could simplify if you have common factors. 26 and 20 are both divisible by 2. So that'll become 13 over 10. And m squared divided by m is just m. So my final answer is b equals 13m over 10. All right, we're going to stop there, and you guys can use these to guide you on homework tonight. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.